Hello there. You can see I'm in a very green area and the air here is quite different. I have a very interesting guest. This guest is someone we've been speaking with for some weeks now. She just came back from Russia. It's going to be the first interview I'm having with anyone from that far off anywhere in the world. And she's going to tell us her story. My name is Echi Atisu. I welcome you once again to this program. Hello, Dr. Paulina.
Hello.
How are you doing?
I'm doing well.
We get to finally meet.
Yes.
After how many weeks we've been talking and all that?
3 weeks, I think.
Yeah, it's been long.
Yes.
How are you doing?
I'm doing well.
You came back just a few days ago and already we've dragged you out here for this interview.
Yes, please.
How's Russia, by the way?
Russia is fine. Cool. Yes.
Is the war still on?
Yeah, it's kind of going on a little, but
it didn't affect you any?
Not really. Not really.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the reason we're having this conversation with you is because Ghana Web had done a story about you when you got your red diploma, which is something we'll talk about much later in the interview. But then you reached out, which a lot of people don't do, and we decided why not. So we want to hear your story, and I want to begin from home. You are back home now. I want to know you a little bit. Who is Dr. Paulina Dente?
Okay, Dr. Paulina. My name is Dr. Paulina Dente. Is a recent graduate from the Yaroslav Medical School in Russia, Novgorod State. It's based in Novgorod, and also a health advocate and a CEO of Remedy Foundation. Okay. Yes. So I'm sure we'll talk about that more when we start our interview. Yeah.
So that's you in a bit. What kind of family did you grow up with? What kind of family?
From a Christian home. Okay. Yeah, very, very disciplined. Yes. And
the military kind?
Not really, but very disciplined. Okay. And then from a humble home, a very prayerful family as well. Okay. Yes.
Okay. I see. And then along the way, you decided to japa.
Yes.
And you went all the way to Russia. What was the decision? What informed that decision to move from Ghana all the way to Russia? Why there were not people here to train you?
Okay, thank you so much for this question. First of all, I've always wanted to become a medical doctor. So having that passion or the dream of becoming a medical doctor, and not just any kind of a medical doctor. I wanted to be a doctor that will help solve most problems that the world faces. So Russia is known to be one of the countries that are very good at some of this solving problems in terms of medical aspect or our health aspect. For example, we know that during the COVID-19, Russia was the first country to discover the vaccine for the COVID-19. And recently, they have been able to, or they are about to discover also, no, I think they've discovered the vaccine for cancer, which we know that cancer is a sickness that most people face across the world. And once you get it, you know that you're at your end points. But this is a country that is able to discover this, and I've always had a dream to be part of such countries to also learn and then impact it into other people in helping health problems.
That means it's about the groundbreaking acumen of Russia that got you there. But before you left, which schools did you go to in Ghana?
So I went to Methodist Girls Senior High School, Manfi Methodist Girls Senior High School.
Oh, the famous one for robotics,
yes.
Right? Okay, interesting.
Yeah, I went there, and then from there, I went straight to Russia to do my medicine.
Okay. Yes. So that means that when you left senior high school, you went to Russia.
Yes.
Was it on a scholarship?
Yes, I was on a scholarship. Okay. So I went to Russia on a scholarship.
Okay. And you were there for how many years?
For 7 years.
7 years?
Yes.
Doctor. That's how long it takes to become a doctor.
Exactly.
Very interesting. But tell me your first experiences when you got to Russia. What were some of the experiences leaving your home Ghana after so long, getting into a new country like Russia?
Okay, so it was not easy when I got to Russia because first of all, we know that in Russia, they speak more of the Russian language. They don't speak English, or most of their cities don't have English.
Okay.
Even the cities that you can hear people speak English, Moscow, is just few people. So one was a language barrier, and two was also the weather. Russia is known to be one of the coldest countries.
Yeah.
We go to the extent of -31. Sometimes you have to even double wear your trousers and a whole lot of stuff. So it was not easy at all. So those were some of the challenges. And also Russians are known, they are nice people, very cool people. But getting to a country where you can't speak a language for the first time, you're not coming to start studying with the foundation, that's the foundation, language foundation, is very difficult. So those were the early challenges.
And which is an interesting aspect of your entire story, because
Exactly.
you were able to surmount all of those things to the point where you were perhaps one of the most sought after persons and immigrants of the sort in that country. And I want you to just carry us along that journey. At what point did you break through the barrier of not being able to speak the language and then actually mastering it? Tell us that story.
So when I go to Russia, as I already said, the language is one of the biggest problem from the beginning for me. And I started with the language foundation, which we studied for 1 year. So during the language foundation, I put in my efforts. I studied very hard. And I started catching up with the language. But it was not all that much. I was able to say the basic stuffs like good morning, good afternoon. And
how do you say that in Russian?
Good morning is Доброе утро.
Okay, Доброе утро.
Okay. And good afternoon is Добрый день.
Добрый день.
День. Yeah. Okay. And good evening is Добрый вечер.
Okay, so the Добрый is good?
Yes.
Okay, interesting. Okay, I'm learning something. All right.
So after the language school, before we took an exam. It's after you pass this language, the language, that you'll be able to start your medicine in the language. So I passed the language very well, whatever subjects that were involved. I remember one of the subjects I was the highest in the whole language foundation. Yes, I topped the whole language foundation there.
And this was you, an African?
Yes.
Were there other Africans like you?
Please.
Okay.
So with the language foundation, we are all Africans.
Okay.
Yeah. So we can talk about people from Morocco, Cote d'Ivoire, Gabon, Congo, and so on.
But you didn't have anyone else from Ghana?
We had a lot of other students from Ghana.
Right.
Yes.
At least you got some people who were familiar with people to speak with. Okay. All right. And you topped that course.
Yes. So the language school was successful. Then I started the medical school.
Okay.
So another thing was when I got to Russia, from our seniors who are already there, I was told it's impossible for foreigners to get this red diploma, which I think we'll be talking more when we start our interview. So I told myself, no. I'm that kind of person that likes challenges a lot. I told myself, no. I think there is nothing which is impossible. Everything is possible based on the individual. So I put in more effort to study, and then during the first year, it was very challenging because first year now we mixed with the Russians.
And that's where they test for the language.
Exactly. It's already their language. We are borrowing it from them. So the lecturers come to the lecturing halls. They will lecture you in Russian language. You have to write your notes in Russian language. Assignments and other things are being given in Russian language. So it was difficult, but I managed. Sometimes I asked some few help from my Russian classmates and so on. So after the first year, I realized that I started getting most of the grades, which is 5, which is equivalent to A or A+ in Ghana. I started getting all the A's, and I told myself, no, I think with my starting, if I put in more efforts, something good will come out of it. And my mind and my targets was already, I wanted to feel what is this red, and why is it impossible for foreigners to get a red? So as time goes on, my second year to more efforts, and the marks started coming. So that was how come.
Let me take you back a little.
Okay.
Where was the interest to do medicine? Is it just like you mentioned, you wanted to be a part of groundbreaking things, or what was it? Why medicine? Okay,
so growing up as a kid, I've always had a passion to help people.
Okay.
So through that, I decided that, okay, I want to do medicine. And also, I think a family member of mine went to the hospital, and because of how sometimes they are being treated, I just have that passion that no, somebody don't have to be my family member or a friend to be treated well in terms of medical care. I would like to be that person that will be help to everyone, would like to help everyone. So that was where the passion came. Yeah. So even when I go to Russia, when I see an old woman trying to climb or something or struggling with her luggage, I always want to help. I'm that kind of person that always wants to help. That was where I got that passion of. And you know, medicine is a service to humankind, helping and you know treating people. That's why.
I see. Yeah. Now you scale first year.
Okay.
Second year, you're great at doing a little better and all of that. What are some of the highlights of your entire training in Russia? Because I know along the training, you had to deal with the usual Ukraine war and also COVID.
Okay.
How did any of those things impact you? And I want to hear some of the highlights, the major highlights that happened during your training.
During the training, one of the things I could say, it was okay, but immediately the war started, there was a lot of panics, especially from home. Family members are seeing a whole lot going on the TVs and other social medias, and so those were the major challenges. And also during the COVID-19, we're not able to go to the hospitals as we used to go when the COVID wasn't.
At that point, which year were you in?
Okay, so during the COVID-19, I was in my second year.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, still had a long way to go.
Exactly. So if it came to a time where we're told that maybe a time will come that we'll be evacuated back to our country. And I asked myself, so the language school plans my second year, meaning that I'm already done with 3 years, or I'm halfway 3 years. So I might throwing the 3 years away and coming back to Ghana. So those were the early challenges. But most online classes were done. We're taking online classes. I put in all the effort as well. Just stayed focused, and I didn't allow any other thing to distract me, especially family members calling. They want you to come home. Is everything okay? And so on. So I think it was after that the war started. The war wasn't in when I was the war started. I think somewhere when I got to my fourth year, I finished early third year, getting to fourth year. That was when the war also started.
So like 2 years after COVID.
Yes, exactly. And with the war, a lot of things happened. Challenges like they've closed all borders. You can't get access to maybe other things that you need from home. Even you can't get access to some of the online we shop books, libraries where we read, because there are lots of sanctions, and even foods that we are used to like McDonald's and other things were all closed.
That means that your studies were limited at a point. You mentioned books that you were not getting.
Yes.
So how were you learning?
Okay, so we're just using Made in Russia.
Made in Russia?
Yeah.
What's that?
Made in Russia basically means if I couldn't get access to maybe some online books like English to get them more understanding from there, I just read the books that were given to us in the library from the medical school, which is in Russian language. And we do the medicine in Russian language, so we study in Russian language. Most of these books are already in our libraries. So I just use that to keep on going. Yes, please.
I see. So now you've been able to get to the point where you are able to read very well.
Yes, please.
To the extent that you don't even have to depend on external literature.
At all. So I just take my Russian. From the beginning, I translate, because when you read the language, you need the understanding. You have to read and then translate it back into English to understand.
Okay.
But it got to a time, I just pick the Russian textbooks or whatever material it says, and I read and I get all the understanding from it.
So now there was no need for you to even read English material?
At all.
Is that what shot you into full-scale learning to get this red diploma?
Yes, please.
What is the red diploma, by the way?
Okay, so a red diploma, we call it diploma in Russia.
Okay.
Okay, so a red diploma is a certificate awarded to best students.
The best students overall?
No, like best students.
Okay, all the best students.
Yes, so to be able to get this red diploma, one, you don't need to have a satisfactory mark grade. That is 1. 2, you are supposed to be able to, you know, do other research for the university, meaning maybe going for competitions. We call it Olympiads, Olympiada in Russian language, and so on. And also, it's also given to students who have attained maybe all A's in their academics, meaning that from the first year of the medical school to that of the final year, you have all A's.
Okay.
Yes. It's either an A or A plus. Yes, please. So that is, and also the GPA of this, to be able to get a red diploma in relation to GPA, it should be from 4.75 above out of 5. Yes. Before you can get
this. What was your GPA?
Oh, I was supposed to tell people out there. My GPA was 4.8, which is approximately 5. Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yes, please.
And that made you the first African?
Yes, please. African. Meaning that not only a female, not only a Ghanaian, but all the Africans in the medical school. I'm the first Black African. Yeah.
And that's actually my guess. That's Dr. Paulina Dente. First Black person to get a red diploma from Russia. Well, the conversation will continue. When we come back from this break, we'll take a sit down and then we'll get more into her story. Don't go anywhere. My name is Echi Atisu. My guest is Dr. Paulina Dente. Dr. Paulina. So now you are the first Black person to ever get this red diploma. How did you feel about that recognition?
I felt so fulfilled. Okay. Because I made a promise to myself.
All right.
That I like challenges. So taking certain risks, I feel I think at the end of it there should be a result. So I felt so fulfilled that I was able to achieve what I set my mind towards.
Did you get calls from home, your parents?
Yes.
What did they tell you?
Not only parents, even my colleagues, the Russians, they were so impressed because they've studied with other Blacks too, and they know how it's very difficult with the foreigners in terms of doing medicine in Russian language. So everybody was just happy for me. All my professors were so proud. Yes, they had to call me to take pictures with them everywhere.
That's nice.
Yes.
Then that means you must have been doing something very different, unique, something that excited your professors.
Yes,
what
please.
What was it about your time in school that excited them so much that, because you could have just gotten this recognition without, why were they so excited for you?
So the excitement was the fact that I was very hardworking.
Okay.
And in terms of towards my studies, and also I became a teaching assistant for the same medical school I studied in, which is the Yaroslav the Wise Novgorod State University.
Well, so while you were in school studying as a student, you were also
a teaching assistant in the same medical school.
And you were teaching in Russian?
No, I was teaching in English.
Okay.
Okay, so
but you needed to understand Russian to be able to teach.
Exactly, and I was doing translation for the school as well for some of the departments. So
you translated from what to what?
I translate from Russian language to English.
The Russian got really good.
Yes. And I have to sit down and draft.
Okay.
Because some translation from Russian language to English doesn't give you that correct words in terms of the English language.
So structure and everything would have to change.
To be able to draft it correctly, and there are already materials there that students are going to use. Okay. So I sit and I read through. So when I see a word in Russian language that has been translated in English, I know that it's not correct. Then I quickly have to type it or change it. So yes, I became a teaching assistant. I was teaching public health in the medical school. I taught 4th year medical students, 3rd year medical students, and I was taking them for exams as well, and translating all the study materials from Russian language to English language.
How are you combining studying on your own, translating for the school, teaching other students, and ensuring that you are getting, like you mentioned, all the A's? Are you some Einstein in a female body?
No, please.
How are you able to do all of that?
All my life, I've been in a boarding house.
Okay.
Even from Ghana, my primary JHS, I was in Mata Ecclesia.
Okay.
It's at Soko de Bogame at Ho, Volta region.
Yeah.
So I'm just this disciplined person towards my books. I enjoy learning more. Yes. So even though it was very tough combining this to my own studies, what I do is I go for my class, all my lectures. I make sure I don't miss lectures too. I don't think all my 7 years in Russia I've ever missed lectures. Even when I'm sick, I will go to class.
Wow.
Some of my colleagues know this about me. Yes. So after my lectures, then I go to do the teaching. So the professors put the timetable in a way that it wouldn't affect my studies as well.
Okay.
But it was very difficult because 4 or 5 hours of my studies and going to stand to lecture about 80 students and going for practical classes too with them. So as I'm talking, my first group of students are now in their final year.
Oh, wow.
They'll be graduating as medical students as well. And my second group of students are going to their 4th year, their 5th year.
That's nice.
Yes.
Congratulations to you.
Thank you.
And well done. And
Thank
that's all of that led to what you got at the end of the day. The
okay,
red
so the
diploma.
red has nothing to do with my translation for the school and my teaching assistant thing.
It was just studies.
It was studies because one thing about Russia is, even some of these teachers feel that it's impossible for you, a black, to get a 5, which is equivalent to an A in our Ghana system. So it has nothing to do with the teaching assistant. It was fully my studies. No professor I assisted at it as a teaching assistant had to even come to talk for you that give a red or she deserve. No, they don't care about that. It is your hard work. One thing I like about Russian in terms of like studies is that when you deserve something, you deserve it.
I see.
Yes.
Now on the red diploma, what did it signify? Was it just the recognition?
No, not only the recognition. So when you're a foreigner and you get a red diploma, automatically you are qualified to have permanent residence in Russia. And then I think, if I stand to be corrected, but after 3 years, you get a Russian passport.
Okay.
And to become a Russian.
But you're back in Ghana.
Yes, please.
What happened? Are you here to stay?
Yes, I'm here to stay. You remember earlier on, I made mention that I've always had the passion to help.
Okay.
And also to get involved with a country that they are so good at medicine or in discoveries in relation to health. So I feel now I've gotten most of the skills that could help my country as well. So I thought of coming back to help my country with all the skills I've acquired and to also learn more from here as well.
So you're back?
Yes, please.
You're not going back to Russia?
I made mention of permanent residence, so meaning that I'll be able to go to Russia anytime I want.
Just because of your red diploma?
Yes.
Okay.
And I can also go there and specialize in the future.
Okay.
I want to be a cardiologist.
But ultimately, you want to stay here and help
for some time. Yes.
System
yes,
here.
Please.
Okay.
And also, not only the recognition, not only the permanent residence. In Russia, there too, you get that kind of an opportunity to work with big hospitals. People call you and they want to work with you and other things because the red shows that you're a distinction student.
Okay.
Yes. So most of these big hospitals in their countries or across the cities, they will always want to have that kind of working environment with you. So it comes with a lot of packages.
I see.
Yes, please.
So now that you are back, I mean, the opportunity to go back there is still there.
Yes.
But you are back. What are you going to be doing? Are you just going to be around, look for work somewhere, or are you about your own thing?
Okay, so with foreign trained doctors, when we come back to Ghana, we are supposed to take our Ghana MDC, which is the Medical and Dental Council examination, to be able to get your license to do your 2 years housemanship.
Okay.
Yes, so that's what I'll be working towards now. And now we have, we are all supposed to do a 6 months internship in some selected hospitals in Ghana here. After the 6 months, you'll be able to register for your Medical and Dental Council examination.
But how about yourself? Is there anything personally any project, any initiative you are embarking on?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Okay, so I started a Remedy Foundation. When you go to my website or Google, it's remedyfoundation.space.
Okay.
So this is a foundation that I've started.
What are you into when you say remedy? What's
Okay.
that?
So Remedy Foundation is basically a non-profit organization committed in transforming the health system in Africa. Okay, so in terms of the underserved people and people who need health care the most in Africa. So that is Remedy Foundation. So with the foundation, it's in two parts. We have the NGO part,
Okay.
and then we have the Remedy AI part. Because when you look at my stories that were viral, you could hear that they said I'm working on an IA that will be help transform the healthcare system in the world and in Ghana as well. Let me put it Africa.
Okay.
Yes.
So it's an AI thing you're working on.
It's not only AI. Is the foundation is divided
so that
into
aspect,
two parts. Yes.
That
so
aspect
we have the
take care of
AI remedy aspect. So
Okay.
I can explain that.
Please.
So the AI remedy is basically when somebody go to the website, which is the remedy.space, you register and then you get access to communicate with an AI doctor. I have an AI software developer who is at India, an AI operator in the USA. Yes, and other people. So these are my team members. So you get the access to be able to communicate with an AI doctor, being it wherever you find yourself.
Okay.
Yes. Because you know that some people are so far away that getting access to healthcare sometimes is very difficult. Some people live in the, let's take it like the villages, for instance. Maybe where to travel to get access to healthcare can take some minutes that sometimes people lose their lives. So that is that aspect of the AI. You'll be able to communicate, sit somewhere where there is an emergency. The AI will tell you certain things to do. If you even need to see a doctor, the AI will tell you.
So
that's that aspect of the AI.
So does it mean that there will be some professionals like
yes,
yourself,
specialists,
okay, on hand for things like that, and anybody can? What's the class of people who can?
No, it's not anybody. As I mentioned, I have an AI software developer at India, an AI operator in the USA, and there will be doctors since it's within the health era. There will be specialist doctors, AI doctors that you can.
So I was actually referring to those who can access your services. Is it just any kind of person?
Yeah, okay, please.
Any kind of
okay,
person?
yes, please. Sorry for that. I now get the question
fine.
very well. So yeah, anybody at all.
All right.
Yes, I'm sure someone may ask that. What of internet? Because I made mention of the villages. I think technology is developing now, and then we are living in a world where now technology is becoming more advanced. And I think I heard that the Starlink or something is coming out very soon. So good.
Yes.
So all these things will help, and anybody at all can access it. So when you go to Google, you type remedy.space, you see the website there. You can read more on it, and also that aspect of the NGO I mentioned. Our vision there is to bridge the gap between healthcare disparities in Africa, and also to help educate people on health as a whole. For example, when we go to the villages, we have a lot of young people dying at an early age. Should we take from maybe something like high blood pressure? It's because they are not well equipped, and they don't even have, some of them don't even know that they have it. And they eat anyhow, they eat any kind of food. But I think my foundation is going to help go to such places, educate them that if you have high blood pressure, that may be, being it chronic, being it acute. Chronic means you are living with it for the rest of your life. And acute means it just started.
Okay.
So being it whatever, we'll be able to educate them on how to eat. For example, patients with high blood pressure, you don't have to take salt. Yes, but most of these people don't even have the knowledge. So this is a foundation that will help a lot of people out there. That is basically that.
We'll be taking leave of you shortly, but before we do, is there anything else, anything in particular that maybe you want to share with us regarding your entire work, anything in your life, something quickly before we part our ways?
Okay, so for now, it's just the foundation I'm working on, and I will start my internship as well, the 6 months, to be able to write the exam to get my license.
Okay.
Yes.
So that means that the study still goes on.
Yes, please. The study still goes on.
No rest for you.
Not at all.
But congratulations once again, and thank you that you made time to speak with us.
Okay.
We had an earlier one when you were way back in
Yes.
Russia, but thank you for the face-to-face, and we wish you all the very best as you're back here in Ghana. Thank you for returning at least to come and support our health system here.
And thank you so much too for giving me the opportunity to be part of this program. It's very important to me. It means a lot to me. Thank you so much as well.
Thank you as well. So that's been Dr. Paulina Dented. She's one of the newest doctors from Russia. She received the highest recognition in her training. It's called a Red Diploma, and she was the first black person to do that. That has been our interview here on Ghana Web TV. My name is Eche Atisu. Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Look for Ghana Web TV. Subscribe, click on the notification button, and you'll get notified anytime we have any new videos. Until another time, bye-bye.